Hi everyone, I'm Marieanne, the Artsie Crafter. Welcome to my channel. You just caught me in the middle of playing with some scraps of paper, and here I am doing a little design with paper, all little bits and pieces. A little bit fiddly, but I've got some trusty tweezers here to help me along, and this is what we'll be doing today. And before we get started, I'll explain what's happening here. Here are my little prototypes. So I've made some flowers, as you can see, and some butterflies and some birdies, and of course a little owl up the top there. I couldn't not make an owl because that's one of my favorite animals. And we have a resident owl here that comes by every now and then to go hoot hoot or whatever he does. It's not hoot hoot, but anyway. Yes, so this is what we'll be doing today, making these, and these would be, you can put on journal cards, journal tags, as you know, a little journal spots in your journals. You can put them on pockets. You could make some paper clips, attach a paper clip there and just clip it onto your journals. There's a heap of applications that you can use these on, and so I'll show you how I've done these. I'll just put these, you've seen them all now, and I'll bring them back later on, but put them aside. I could put them somewhere that you could see. It would be good, but anyway, I've got this one here that I'm in the process of making, and how I'm going about it. I wasn't going to do this one, but I thought I really wanted to see how a flower turned out, and so all I did was go and grab some images off the internet and printed them out. Here they are here, and then I turned them over and I drew the outlines on the back like this. You can stick it up if you've got a light box or a window. You can just hold it up and you can see through enough to just draw the outline of what you're going to be working on. I'm all excited because today my light box turned up. I've been wanting a light box for a long time, and it turned up. I got mine from Amazon for about $37, free shipping, and it only took a day or two to get here. I was quite surprised. I wasn't expecting it until next week. But anyway, and of course it wasn't in time for me to do these, so I just held these up to a window and I could see the image on the front. So with these, I'll bring these back for a moment. How I did these, because these weren't, these aren't anything like they started off to be. So the image I got is actually that flower, but I was improvising, so I just use these images as guides to help you create your little cutouts or little images here. And this, I just went to town, and you can see that I did different things here with this one. This one here is just another flower that I cut out with some paper and just glued on the center there to make the center of the flower. This one here, I cut out a circle dot and put on here, and I cut out a circle of paper, circle from book page. And then I folded it in quarters and I just cut it all up to make all this fluffy stuff here, and I just squished it up and inked the edges and glued that to the center of that flower. So that was that one. And then this one here, I did some decorations and I put some little diamantes on there. And this one here, this was the first one I did because I wanted to see what color papers would be like. You know, some, you know, with different colored papers, and what I have to say, it wasn't my favorite, but when I just kept going and adding things to it, like the gold little dots around the wings, and then I add some gold to the center, and I changed some of the colors of the paper up because I didn't think they went well together. And I actually yes, so on the front was an image of the butterfly, and I pretty much stuck to what the original looked like. So that one was there. I forgot my track of thought then. And this one here I'll show you this one first, because this one, it was another one I did, but you can see it's exactly the same shape. So this one I actually kept the image and I applied it to the drawing that I did, the tracing that I did. But you can see how different, using different scraps of paper, how different they can turn out. So that's a lot of fun. And of course you can change the size and all that kind of thing. So this one here is the same butterfly, but instead of cutting it out exactly the same, I just left the ends and turned it over, and I just trimmed around and made this kind of effect with some, you know, ragged wings and whatnot. So I quite like that one, and put some little, as I said, put some little diamantes on there, and drew in the body here, the segments of the body. So that was that one. Here is the bird. So on the back, I just stuck closely to the bird, except I added some wings, extra wings, tail feathers. So this one here was the original tail feather, and I just added these down the bottom because I thought he needed more more tail feathers if he's going to fly around. Poor little birdie on there, one little tail feather. Anyway, I was going to do this kind of design in the beginning, and I thought, oh, this looks too tedious. I don't want to do that. So I ended up doing it this way. So I just tore out scraps of paper and just glued them on, and I did kind of shape some a little bit sort of thing, and then I went over once the paper had dried, then I just used some inks and did some tracings. You know, I drew in his eye, and I coloured his beak, and I did some feathering on here, and I also ran around the outline of the bird with a pen. So that was that one. This one here is exactly the same birdie, except he's the other way around. And on the back here, I actually gave him some even bigger tail feathers because I really wanted him to be able to fly easily, and a longer beak. Why, I don't know, but I didn't think he was going to be able to pick up all the worms with that little beak. Yes, you got to have a sense of humour when you're playing around with scraps of paper, don't you? So this one, I thought he's a little cutie, so that's what he looked like originally. And of course, once again, I added some more tail feathers so that, yes, he doesn't have any problems flying around. And this little owl here, I just added a little bit. I wanted him to have some hands, so I just drew on some hands on his wings and made his ears a little bit bigger, and that's pretty much it. And because I cut out the circles and I cut out the shape for his eye and his beak all in one, and then the circle at a book page for his the whites of his eyes, and then the irises, I cut that out of black, but you could just use ink to colour that in, be much easier, I think. And once again, I just traced around the outside. So that's pretty much how I did everything in this one here. So I wanted to see what it was like to do a rose. I hate painting roses, so I thought this would be a good way to do it. But I've already put it all together, and of course, you know what I'm going to have to do now. I'm going to have to take all those pieces apart and re-glue them in, or glue them in, I should say. And you'll see I started off with, so I'll show you how I started off, because it's going to turn out differently. And I started off with these tearing out the leaves, but that was too tedious. So I ended up, I didn't like the shape anyway, so I cut them out instead out of different papers. So I think they'll look much better leaves. So anyway, so what I've done here, I've got two different types of red coloured papers here, or I've actually got three, but I didn't think that went very well, so I'm not using that one. And so this one, I just cut that out for the center because I thought that would be easier to do. So all I did was just cut out some half circles of paper in the two different colours, like this, and then I layered them on top of each other, starting from the outside. So they're not going to all go back the same way as I put them, but that doesn't matter because you should be able to arrange them any way you want, and you know, without having to worry about how they were in the first place. And as I mentioned before, if you heard me, was that I'm only using these images as a guide. I'm not sticking to the shape of the petals. I'm just using them as a guide to where I want to put the papers on top, but I'm creating my own interpretation of the rose. So it's just a matter of gluing all these bits on, and I start from the back petals like this, and then I work my way to the front, to the middle, I should say, to the front, to the middle. Right there. The point of this exercise is to have fun. Don't stress out. Don't worry about making perfect flowers or perfect butterflies or anything like that. The whole point is having a bit of fun and creating some interesting little elements to go in your journals. So that's the whole purpose of this exercise. So, and stress-free. It's supposed to be a stress-free, relaxing, put some music on, just have some fun with it, and play around with the colors. As I say, I'm just using these two colors because they're just because the rose red is red, you don't have to stick to that. You could get all kinds of patterns in here and really go to town with these papers, you know, so don't think you have to stick to any color scheme, and each one is going to turn out differently, as I showed you with the butterflies and the birds. So I might speed this up at several places because I couldn't think of anything more boring than watching someone glue bits of paper onto a page or onto a background. So I'm going to do, the next row will be this different color, and then the top row will be the original color, just to break the color scheme up a bit, and so you'll be able to see the petals. And then when I'm finished, I can go around the outline, so you'll be able to see those petals much easier. Anyway, as I said, I'll speed this up from time to time, just so that I'll just pop in if I need to let you know about anything. And I think you get the idea of how this proceeds. There we go. If you've been watching, you'll see I forgot to put the leaves down, so I had to, lucky I could get those edges up and put the leaves down. I should have put the leaves down first, but anyway, we got there in the end. Just make sure they stay under there. And I worked on the wrong side. I was supposed to work on this side, I think. Oh, it doesn't really matter, I don't think, because you're going to be cutting these shapes out anyway, so that doesn't matter. Once that glue has dried, then we can finish it off and decorate it. But for now, I'll just leave that aside until the end, and I'll come back and finish the flower off. In the meantime, I'll just clear off some of this mess, and lucky my bin's right underneath me. And we'll get on to the next one. So this one here is the dragonfly, and what I did with most of them, this one here, you saw I tore off little half circles. Oh, sorry, get you in shot. This one I use mainly half circles to make the flower, because that's what flower petals look like. With most of these ones here, you'll see that I used strips of paper, and then, you know, when I want to do curves and whatnot, I just tore it out individually, but basically they're all just strips of paper, scraps, like I've got here in this tray. And I've also got some more over here on hand in case I run short or I want some other shapes. So I've got them there and I can make other shapes if necessary. So the body of the dragonfly will go on last, and I don't know if I left a strip wide enough for his body, but that one might do. I think that will do. I'll leave that aside just so I don't use it. And so the process I use is I'll start off with, I haven't even decided what color I'm going to do him, but I might start off with, I've got some nice sparkly papers here, so I might go and I just glue them on, and I might leave that one to last. I'll work on the bottom of the wing first, and might start with this one because it looks a bit like feathery wing. So it's just a matter of, and I tear off the ends here that I won't need, and you don't have to worry about shaping them because you're going to tear them out. You're going to turn the images over when you're finished. So once you put all these bits and pieces on, it's just a matter of making sure it goes onto the body section so there's no gaps. So when it's all finished, you'll be turning it over and cutting this image out, or if you're like me, you'll cut some of it out and then you'll turn it back over and maybe leave the wings ragged. That's what I did on some of them, and then some of them I just cut around that shape and left it to that shape. That's up to your personal preference, how you want to do that. And I just continue working up the butterfly with these all look like bits and pieces of butterfly wing, and sometimes I will tear these down so they're a bit thinner, just so that I can get more variation in the design. And I will just overlap those papers and tear off where I want and glue on the back. You can fan the shapes out, you can, there's all ways of doing it, and I will might give him some dark, him or her, some dark bit on top, and that top of that thing annoys me. Yeah. So this is just a bit of fun, something different. You can sit there, and if you've got kids, you can sit there and do these, make these for the kids, and maybe make mobiles out of them and hang them up in their rooms. There's all kinds of applications that you can use these for, not just journaling. And I want to thin a bit. They don't take very long to make, and then you can decorate them any way you want when you're finished. That one looks better around this way. As you can see, I've used the paper, and if it's shaped one way that looks better than the other, that's the only consideration that I think about when I'm putting the bits and pieces of scraps of paper onto the images. I want to use these ones last, so I might tear them down a little bit. Seeing the dragonfly has thinner wings than the butterflies. I want to get as much variation of the papers on their wings as possible, so that's what I'll do. And I might try some of this spotty paper here. I like that tip, so I might use that. See if I can keep that red tip on the wing. And I want the gold to be on the wing, but it's a little bit thick. As you can see, it doesn't take all that long to do these. And then for the top here, I will just roughly, I'll turn it over so I can see what I'm doing, and I will just roughly gauge where the head is. It's just a ball thing like this, and come down here. It doesn't have to be exact. I'll make his tail a bit thicker than this, and then I'll just cut it out. I think that'll be easier than trying to tear it out. And just doing this roughly, you know, you could take more time with the body. You could also cut it up to make segments, separate segments, and they all could be different colors of the body. But for now, I'm just going to keep it simple and do it that way. So that will be his body when I've finished. So I'll go ahead and finish this off on the other side. You don't need to see me repeat the pattern. I'll do this side and put the body on, and I'll come back and show you how it looks. There's the dragonfly finished, and there's a little bit more to do before it's finished, but I'll put that one aside for now, and I'll bring back the rose, and we'll proceed with this one and show you how you can decorate it. I've got some pens here. I've got a watercolor pencil as well, and it's around the same color as the flower, the petals on the flower. So I just go around and rub some on the outside of each of those little petals here, and you could you could use anything here, some black instead of the same color, just to get a bit of contrast. And I'm just going to do this in this color first. See if it doesn't work out, then I will use, and this glue is not completely dry, so and I have a little paintbrush. Where is my paintbrush? Okay, and some water, and I don't think it's going to show up as well on here as the other ones. Some shading, so I will skip that one. I'll leave that to dry. What I'll do is I'll use the black instead, because that's what I did on the other ones, I think, on some of them, just to do some shading around the edges like this with the watercolor. If you don't have the watercolor pencils, then some markers instead. It's just to highlight the shape of the leaves and the petals. That's all we're doing. Just give them some variation on the outside, and then I'll go back, and I've got a pen here. When this is all dry, I will draw the outline, and then I'll draw the stems of the leaves. So for instance, oh, that's red. I keep forgetting that's a red one, not a black one. You could do it in green, but I'm going to do it in black. So you can draw in the stems and just go around the outside. So this is just, an impression of the flower, so you don't have to be accurate. It's just for decorative, give you a bit of decorative finish to it. So, there we go. And some shadowing under here. As I said, I like to use the pencil here to do the shadowing with the watercolor, but it's not vital. And those leaves. Okay, this one, not as impressed with this one as I was with the other ones. So what I can do, as I said, I wasn't quite happy with this one here that I did, so I just kept going until I got something that I closely resembled something I like. So you could do go around in gold with those petals, and to just to define them a bit better. It might help, because I'm not as fussed on this as I was with the other elements that I did. And the glue here must have not been down properly, but you get the idea of what this is supposed to look like anyway. So as I said, it's just a matter of keep playing with it until you get something you like. Or if worst comes to worst, you can always chuck it out and start again or not bother with it. So I'll just give some definition to the outside of those petals on the perimeter. The inside here. And of course, it's kind of pretty, but I'm not really fussed on it. And of course, if all else fails, add some bling. Add some. These are the only ones, bit of bling I've got, apart from the diamantes. These are little flowers, and got to cut off a piece of plastic. There we go. This is how you fix things up. There's that. And you can really go to town. And I've got some of this glimmer, Nouveau Glimmer in gold. Don't want to drown it, so ease off. So you could add that to it. Seeing it didn't turn out so great. And of course, I've got to put some on the leaves as well. And I think I would do this in different papers if I were to use the rose in the future. I think it might have turned out a little better than it did using some different, maybe a bit more variation in the colours. But anyway, you get the idea. And so you can see what it looks like. Probably looks better on the camera than it does in real life. Sometimes things usually do, but anyway, that's just gives you an idea of what you can do. And then this one here, I wanted to going to outline. I will do the outline because we're going to cut this one out first. I will do that, and I'm not thinking about whether I'll stick to the lines or I'll do a crazy shape, but I think just for the purpose of this video to show you what it looks like, I'll go ahead and cut it out to the shape, the proper shape of the dragonfly, and then we can come back and finish decorating. Oh, won't be long. There's our little dragonfly. Cut him out. I actually had to cut it out another body because I forgot I was going to make him a thicker body, so I had to go and cut another one out and put over the top of that one because I wanted him to have a thicker body. And I also did the segments of his body in gold. And while I was at it, I thought I wanted to get these mushrooms done and show you just something a little bit different to what we've done here. Here we just did half circles to do the rows. This one we just cut out strips, as you saw here. And this one here, I just tore out little squares and made these. And this is what it looks like. And so I will put that aside and we'll finish this one off. And I'm going to just do some highlights in the dark here. That one disappeared on me. Oh, it's still stuck to the still stuck to the tweezers. Oh dear. So there we go. I mean, you could do it along the diamantes along the wings, just like I did with the butterfly here. Oops, dropped it like that. But you can see there. And that pattern's got some gold in there as well. So that's just that one. And so we've got those there. And I will quickly cut this one out and we'll finish that. And that will be it for today. So you can see I just did a pattern. I did strips across and then I did little squares in here. And then I put a little cap on top of the mushroom. So I'll cut that out and I'll come back and finish decorating that one. There we go, you can see what that one looks like. It's pretty swanky mushroom there. So, you know, you can have lots of fun doing all the little different different ways of cutting up paper or tearing up paper and applying them. You get lots of different patterns. This one here I don't have to do too much because he looks pretty swanky as he is. So I'll just draw around if my pen will cooperate. Okay. And there we go. I think that's enough for him. He's colourful enough as it is. And as you saw, I did change the shape a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. So there we go. That's our little fun for today. So I'll just bring them all out. I'll put them on this board because my cutting mat's starting to look very grubby. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I hope you're going to try these out because there's just so much fun. I don't want to be the only one having fun here, so I hope you'll have a try with these because you can make smaller ones, you know, because they are pretty big, so you can make smaller ones and stay in shot. That's all I have. Thank you very much for watching. And if you like what you saw today, please give it a thumbs up. And also, just let me know which one you like the best in the comments. Leave your answer in the comments section below. And let me know which one is your favorite. If any of them are your favorite, you mightn't like any of them at all. I would love to know because everyone has their preference, don't they? Everyone has their own tastes and whatnot. So it would be just a bit of fun to share, what you think. I will let you go now and get on with your day. And I wish everybody a happy crafty day. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone. Have fun.